back to Web3Weirdos. I'm your host, Angie, aka Angie, and today we're doing things a little differently. So a few days ago I posted on my IG something that I noticed in the NFT space. I sort of just threw it out there entirely unresearched, and my DMs exploded with people commenting on it. So I thought, hey, let me explore this a bit deeper and see if there's any truth to what I'm seeing. Well, it turns out there absolutely is, and I want to talk about it today. So today we are exploring just how white the NFT community is and how that impacts NFT values and resale profits for everyone in the space. If you're enjoying the series or just enjoying me, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to my channel so I keep making episodes and you don't miss a drop. First things first, NFTs come in a variety of forms, with PFPs or profile pictures being some of the most popular ones due to how well they represent personal identities. I call these NFT identities, and what I'm talking about are NFT profile picture collections, specifically the ones created in a human's image that come complete with a variety of skin tones, genders, hair, lip, and eye colors, as well as randomized clothing and accessories. So while I know people deeply identify with their apes and cool cats, for the purposes of this episode, we're only talking about human-based collections. When it comes to NFTs, there's a trait for everything. Each trait can be thought of like a unique property, and those properties, individually as well as combined, add value to your NFT. So when NFT collections launch, the creators will often release a list of potential traits along with a rarity chart for people to properly appraise their prized possessions. As you can imagine, some traits carry higher values than other similar ones, which can raise the questions of why and who determines that value. The more valuable your traits, the more valuable your NFTs. And when it comes to human profile pictures, the traits are everything because what people are looking for is a design or an image representative of themselves. And with NFT collections launching with thousands of trait combinations, there's a high probability that you'll find one that looks like you. For example, I've mentioned before being a huge fan of Crypto Coven. I own a witch from the collection, and I routinely browse OpenSea to check the floor price as well as see what other witches are on the market. Well, when I went to OpenSea, I noticed that when I filtered by price, low to high, it was almost exclusively witches with dark skin at the lowest price point. I took a quick screen grab after a work meeting and posted it quickly on IG with some comments. Before this, when I minted my witch in December 2021, I posted it on Twitter sharing my excitement that I officially got into the coven, as well as my disappointment that she didn't look like me. So as you can see here, this is my witch. She's super cute. I love the glowy hair. I love the character description. It actually kind of sounds like me, but as you can see, the witch doesn't look anything like me. At all. But because I posted it on Twitter, a ton of other coven members started replying and offering to trade. So next I know people are sending photos of their dark skinned witches and asking if I want to swap. I was overwhelmed. There were some super beautiful witches that came across my Twitter feed. Some of them had hair just like mine. But before I could agree, a black woman pops in my DMs with a word of advice. Don't trade your white witch. They have a higher resale value than the black ones. I was intrigued. I hadn't really given it any thought, and admittedly, I was just looking for a profile picture, but it turns out she was absolutely right. On the secondary marketplaces like OpenSea and Zora, witches with light brown to dark skin price higher than witches who have lighter skin. There also happen to be more witches with light brown to dark skin for sale than witches with light skin in total. Actually, 6,669 brown skin witches are available on OpenSea versus 3,000 white witches. I'm not saying that all witches with brown skin price lower than white witches by default. It's just that on average, the price is lower and there's an abundance of them. When I started filtering a bit deeper to only look at witches with my witches traits, aka twilight skin and neon hair, the price was more than double the floor price, meaning the fair skin and neon hair upped the overall value of my witch, despite the fact that witches with dark skin and neon hair priced well below that. I wish I could say I can't believe it, but just like a ton of things in Web3, this isn't new, it's just in a new form. But even after seeing the value spread across Crypto Coven's collection, I still wanted to know if this was a trend across the industry or if this was just specific to Crypto Coven's collection. So I dug around a bit more. To continue my research, I started looking at CryptoPunks collection. It's an OG collection that did very well and is always in high demand, so I felt it was a classic choice to gather some data. Well, I took a look and I saw more of the same. Dark-skinned punks sold for less than light-skinned punks, and female punks sold for less than male punks. In fact, I found an entire article from Bloomberg in my searches that outlined the same issue back in December of 2021, which I know I loved finding because because it validates my hypothesis and even had some hard data charts for anyone who wanted to dispute or argue otherwise. The data doesn't lie. It turns out that the high-value world of PFP NFTs has an inequality problem. And let me be clear, it's not an issue of the creators who are making these beautiful and wonderfully diverse representative collections. It's actually a problem with the community, which unfortunately isn't as diverse and representative of the people in this world. Similar to other societal spaces, Web3 is heavily male and white, which breeds more white and male participants. And they're not looking to buy black and female PFPs because that wouldn't be representative of them. At the end of the day, the people able to and willing to pay for these digital goods aren't going to spend money on or hold on to an item that doesn't look like or represent them. And because the space is so white and male, non-white and non-male people aren't exactly seeing themselves in the space, meaning they're not making the leap into Web3. So herein lies the problem. This egalitarian and decentralized Web3 utopia that breeds permissionless trust is truly nothing but a bunch of white dudes gathering, making, and selling things to each other in a silo. Women and people of color, like all other societal and economic spaces, have been left out, unfortunately. And even though new women-led groups are moving into the space and finding success, like World of Women and Boss Beauties, non-white creators, specifically black and brown ones, aren't seeing the same response to their collections because they don't have the same robust community in Web3 that other demographics have. But it's not all doom, I swear, and we can actually change this. We just need to, one, recognize the problem, and two, create pathways for all types of people to get involved. And that means meeting them where they're at and providing proper resources to onboard them into this beautiful space. Resources can look like education, mentorship, Discord invitations, etc. So here are a couple ways that I think we can move diversity into the Web3 space. One, expand your networks. Okay, I keep saying it's not the creator's fault, but we also can't pretend that their networks don't play a large role in who gains access to their collection. So if you want to ensure a wider reach for your collection, you need to make efforts to expand beyond your networks and your networks, because what you really need is to reach deep into the dark corners that you never knew glittered. Trust me, they want NFTs too, and there is money everywhere. Two, standardize low-cost mints. We already know the resale market is unattainable for most, and a lot of collections have done a great job at ensuring the mint is at an affordable price. But even spending $500 on a digital good is a lot, and as prices rise, people are backing away. And because lower income people tend to be disproportionately black and brown, the high cost of entry into the NFT space is ensuring that they don't actually ever make their way in. Three, make it easier to find collections. Listen, time is freedom, and the majority of the world doesn't have that luxury. I'm fortunate enough to work from home online and have very few other commitments that take my time, meaning if I want to spend 2 to 3 hours a day reading Twitter threads or Discord chats and white papers, I can, but not everyone can say that, and in order to find these new drops, you have to be plugged in. What people aren't grasping is that Web3 is truly in its infancy, and you can liken the entire space to an underground society. If you're in it, you know what's going on. If you're not in it, you're lost entirely. 4, do away with the whitelist. Oh my god. One of the more controversial pieces in NFT spaces is the whitelist. As I've mentioned before, it's essentially a pre-sale RSVP list guaranteeing your chance to mint an NFT from a collection. If you don't get yourself on the list, you can't get the NFT. Point blank. And to no one's surprise, the whitelist is not shared broadly. In order to find it, you need to follow their Twitter, join their Discord, engage in the chats, complete a series of tasks at the creator's request, and then maybe, just maybe, you'll secure a spot. It takes a lot of time and work for the buyer, and yet a lot of creators are moving to the whitelist model, further keeping people out of their collections. Okay, it's not an overnight solution, but as new people make their way into the space, they actually have the opportunity to do things just different enough, and the more people who raise awareness about these issues, that will inspire change across the space. So I'm still hoping that as we grow the space, it'll naturally diversify, but without recognizing the problem and commitment to solve it, we're just replicating our physical world online. Okay, that's all I have today on NFT inequalities and identities. I know it's a hot topic. I truly hope more people start talking about it as the space gains more popularity. If you want to meet some people who are also learning about this, you know I created the Web3Weirdos Discord channel. The link for getting involved in that is in the description below. I can be found at Angie on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you again for joining me as I share what I'm learning about in this space. If you enjoyed this video, please help by liking it and subscribing to my channel so you don't miss any future videos. And feel free to share with any friends who are interested in the space but don't know exactly where to start.